I thought long and hard about whether or not I should take this mandate. But of course, this is a bastion of free speech. And so I will speak without fear and without favor on this debate.
How you guys doing? This is Sahar TV. Oxford Union Debate held a conversation whether Islam is compatible with democracy. Ben Habib, who argues Islam is not compatible with democracy, gave a speech. This is what he had to say.
I have to say that even though it's been an ambition of mine to speak here, the topic that was offered up is one that is particularly sensitive. And I thought long and hard about whether or not I should take this mandate. But of course, this is a bastion of free speech. And so I will speak without fear and without favor on this debate. And the first thing I'd like to say, if I may, is that the motion isn't quite right. And I say the motion isn't quite right because I'm not interested in a debate about Islam's compatibility with democracy in theory, or whether it's been compatible with democracy in the past, or whether through some kind of genesis it may be compatible in the future. What I'm concerned about is whether Islam is compatible, and Zudi mentioned it in his speech, with the liberal democracy that we practice in the United Kingdom. For it is the United Kingdom that gave rise to this institution and the ability for us to have this debate, as I say, which I will have without fear or favor.
Isn't it very imperialist to assume and impose only one version of democracy, which is the British parliamentary democracy, the Western conception of the world, and assume that just because Muslim majority countries do not adhere to the same rules and laws means that they must be incompatible with democracy?
I'm not, no. You're misinterpreting what I was saying. I'm not interested in whether Islam is capable of being compatible with democracy. I'm only interested in whether Islam is compatible with our democracy in the United Kingdom, because I live in the United Kingdom and I'm a British citizen. And so for me, this isn't a theoretical debate. For me, this is a practical debate. Where is Islam at the moment? And where is our liberal democracy in the United Kingdom? So let me start with two anecdotes. 2 years ago, the Dean of Trinity College defended a junior fellow at Evensong when he described Jesus as being transgender and the wound on Jesus' chest that he received from a Roman spear as resembling a vagina. That dean still has his job. He attracted a bit of public opprobrium at the time, but it blew over within 48 hours, and he still has his job at Trinity College, Cambridge. Compare that to the fate of the grammar school teacher in Batley who circulated some caricatures of the Prophet Muhammad, was threatened with his life after circulating those pictures, was removed from his post immediately by his school, and still lives in hiding. That is in modern United Kingdom. Now, it might be that Islam can find its way to being compatible with democracy, but I can find no sense of the freedom of speech evident in the way that that grammar school teacher was treated. The freedom of speech, which is the cornerstone of the house in which I am now speaking, and the cornerstone of British democracy.
In Islam, it's forbidden to draw caricatures of Prophet Muhammad because it symbolizes idolatry, it symbolizes disrespect, and that's why it's incredibly risky to draw caricatures of Prophet Muhammad.
It is entirely incompatible with democracy that that grammar school teacher should still be hiding, fearing for his life in the United Kingdom in 2024. So let me just talk a little bit about Islam. The Quran is the word of God. It is the word of God written down by the Prophet Muhammad as communicated to him by the angel Gabriel. It is the word of God. It cannot be improved. It is perfect. And because it is perfect, it has no truck with criticism. Compare that to the, frankly, absurd description offered up by the Dean of Trinity College 2 years ago. Can you imagine, ladies and gentlemen, for a second, the treatment that Dean would have received if he had described the Prophet Muhammad in those terms?
It's funny to me that it's even a point of debate. Of course, Islam is not compatible with democracy, especially not the liberal democracy in the UK. Do you think you're actually going to have free speech under Islamic rule? Of course not. Do you think you're going to have equal rights under Islamic rule? Of course not. Women are oppressed under Islamic rule. Gay people are oppressed under Islamic rule, oppressed and killed. It's funny to me that it's even a debate. Although there are imams that believe Islam should reform, like Imam Muhammad Tawidi, who we watched his video not too long ago, and he explains how Islam should reform, how Islam should not celebrate violence and jihad and praise terrorists. He's all for it. So is there a chance that Islam will reform? Very slight. Do I think it's going to happen? I really don't think so. I don't think Islam is going to ever reform. Because Ben Habib is right. If they believe that the Quran is the word of God, then how can you reform the word of God? If you reform it, you twist it. If you twist it, it's no longer the divine word. So no, Islam is absolutely not compatible with democracy. Thank you for watching this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If you'd like to support me financially, you can do that using Buy Me Coffee or Patreon down in the links in the description. Please join the Discord in the description below, and you can now become a YouTube member and enjoy specific YouTube perks. Thank you for watching. I'll see you again in the next video.